Oh, oh, it's recording now. Yay. Okay. Yep.
All right. Kind of wish I had cleaned up my house a little better, but
No one cares. Everybody loves the cats and everything, so don't worry. Uh-oh.
nope.
Hello, we are trying to reach the vehicle owner concerning your.
Oh, stop.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, now I'm going to mute me.
All righty. Okay, Phoebe. A fire anchor. What time is it? Haha. Okay. Can I do yoga too? Can you do some yoga with me? No. Okay. Oh, I never changed my shirt. Oh, hello. My friends, everyone's here.
Okay, what do you say we get started, friends? Hello, my name's Marie. Welcome to your restorative yin class. Let's see, before we get started today, is it just me or am I the only one that's just been super stiff in my shoulders and my neck in the last week? Oh, hello.
Hi, I'll mute this.
Hey.
I can't see you yet, but there you are. Hi.
Hi, come on in. I was just talking about how this week has been a pain in the neck.
Just you. It's not just you.
No, okay. Well, how does a little bit of like a neck and shoulder releasing class sound? I'll definitely throw some legs and back stuff in there too. But man, oh man, sometimes we just need to release, take the time to really breathe and really do some neck stuff. Doesn't really happen in real life. Seems like we just have to be on guard all the time. So let's see if we can calm ourselves down enough so that we can just breathe for a little bit and release a little bit of that tension. So get comfy. Let's go ahead and get any blankets and any blocks that you would like to have with you, because we will definitely be doing a little bit of melting inward and down, hopefully. So let's start in a comfortable position, seated if that's possible. But I know some people, just to start to get yourself in tune to the class, we like to start lying down or in some way that you really don't have to think about holding your body, and just sort of let the floor have you. So let's go ahead and just get started getting comfortable so that we can close our eyes. I'm going to sit just for purposes so that you can see me and I can talk to you. But you guys lie on your bellies, lie on your back, curl up on your side, sit with your legs crossed, be upside down, whatever feels best for you. And here we go. Start just by closing your eyes. Maybe you're breathing in and out through your nose. Maybe your nose is a little stuffy, so we're breathing through our mouth. That's okay. But once you close your eyes and you take your sense of sight away, some of your other senses tend to heighten. And so we may experience a heightened sense of touch, maybe an intense sense of hearing. But maybe we can feel and we can hear just a little bit more. And let's listen for a couple things here. Let's listen with our ears to hear the sound of our breath. Either, the sound of your inhales and exhales through your nose. Or maybe we're hearing it like in the back of our throat. And then tuning in with your ears for any other noises that are going on around you. Your mind paying attention, listening for anything that you may hear. Like when someone says, shh, wait, you hear that? And then you really tune in. That's what we're going for here.
Margie. Okay. Okay, right here. Come here. Mark.
Good. Once you get a little settled there,
Sit
go
down.
ahead and tune into our sense of touch. So whatever position that we are in, feel the ground below you. Feel your points of contact, your skin, your body with that ground. And touch has so much complexity to it. It's got pressure, temperature, texture. And as if you were looking at a specimen, this ground, and you were to explain it in its most detail, what would you call it? This ground. Hard, soft, warm, cold. And this is just what it means to you and what you feel now. There's no right or wrong answers here. And then let's take that sense of feeling study into our bodies here. Let's start. We're going to go from the ground and up. So if you're lying down, it's going to be everything that you feel on the ground. That's going to be the entire back of your body, or maybe the front if you're lying on your bellies. So a little bit different. We're not going from toe to head. This time we're going from ground. Everything the ground is touching. I'm just sort of rising up from the floor, taking that scanner to the parts of you that are feeling the air. So starting with the bottom here, the parts of your muscles that are relying the most here, being held. And checking in for any soreness, any tension. Also any holding that you may be able to just sort of sit with and feel. Then rising from those body parts on up, feeling the parts that are moving, specifically your breath here and your breathing parts, your chest and your belly. Maybe you feel your shoulders slightly moving too. And take that on up to your face and the parts most high from your floor surface. Checking your eyelids. Checking your mouth and your jaw. And we're really going just for identification, not really in order to change anything, but just to become aware of them. Seeing this whole complex being of yourself here sitting here as one unit with so much intermingling together in it. in you, I should say. Nice and slow here, wherever you are. We're going to raise our arms above our heads. So if we're lying down, that means that our back of our hands may reach towards the floor. Our arms above our heads. If we're seated, our fingers reaching towards the ceiling. If we're on our bellies or on our sides. It means something a little different here. But just noticing your arms, an engagement, just a little bit of a reach here, feeling this extension in your shoulders and maybe in your back. Just activating some of those muscles here that make a reach possible. And other parts of your body here that contribute. And wiggle your fingers. Take a few nice deep breaths in and out. And then sink those arms down to your sides or down on the floor so that any muscles that were engaged in reaching those arms up are now settling down, letting go. And grow your breath a little bit more here. And then let's go ahead and reach those arms up with an inhale again, or nice and overhead. Take another nice filling inhale, nice reach, nice engagement. Maybe those arms are pulling back a little bit if you're seated or on your bellies. And then exhale, let them all go. And let's rest one hand on our heart and one on our belly here. Taking the time to tune into our little motors here, these automatic rhythms. Doing our best to take them a little slower, making these breaths and maybe even our heart rate as calm and slow as we like. And from here, we're going to find ourselves in a seated position. So if you're lying down, take your time maybe squeezing your knees into your chest or adding other movements into parts of your body just to wake them up a little bit. Maybe rocking side to side. And then either rolling onto one side and then pressing yourself up, or maybe you want to rock back and forth and roll yourself all the way up. Good. Taking your time to get settled here. If you want a blanket underneath your hips or your ankles, that's totally fine. If you want something on your lap, we're going to take a minute to come inward here. Just a seated fold. Your legs don't have to be any specific position. We're just going to tune in here. Notice any difference.
I can't hear you. I don't know if other people are having the same problem.
I suddenly can't either.
Okay. Do we seem to be having a little bit of a hearing issue?
Oh, you're back. You're back.
All right. Give me a thumbs up. Well, for those that I can see, a thumbs up if you can see. Good. Everybody else, I'm going to assume you can hear me. Otherwise, go ahead and say something. Good. All right. So seated here, getting cozy. If you want blankets on your lap or anything like that, we're just going to round ourselves in so that we are kind of allowing our top half to release. And it doesn't have to work against gravity to hold us here. We're just going to allow it to flop down. Letting the crown of your head just sort of reach forward and down so your chin's coming towards your chest. Your shoulders are slumping forward. Your arms can be in front of you or at your sides. And go ahead and listening with our ears, but also with that sense of touch, if that makes sense. Sort of searching, listening to our bodies by, like, you know, what is it feeling? Notice any parts of your shoulders or your neck that may be feeling a little bit of a tug, maybe in your middle or your lower back or in your hips. And take a minute just to sit with this, just to breathe with it. Of course, at any point, if anything that I'm saying is making you feel uncomfortable and you would like to modify, you can always ignore me and do anything that feels better. Blankets and blocks are there to help adjust. If it feels better to do this from more of a sitting up position or even lying down, that's fine too. This is your time. This is about listening to you, because so much of our attention goes out externally. And as social creatures, we are empathetic and we care about what others feel and think and say. And sometimes we can take a burden onto ourselves with that care. And so it's really nice to tune in, give yourself that same kind of care. And you may find that it sort of creates a bit more of a counterbalance, seeing that you are prioritizing your wellness here. Good. Now from here, let's go ahead and just start to roll our head side to side, keeping our chin down. Maybe very slow movements at first. Rock your head over to the right shoulder, back down to the center and to the left. Giving ourselves that time to take everything nice and slow. Maybe matching our breath here to those rhythms, to their movements. And then maybe making those circles a little bigger. Maybe lifting your chin from your chest if you're reaching one ear towards the shoulder. And then taking it to the other side. See if we can't have these movements and these breaths as a gift, you know, just a little bit of nurturance for ourselves. Maybe even a slight smile on our lips. Happy to be us, happy to give to ourselves. Naturally loving yourself as you would, you know, a child or a pet that you just adore. Good. Now, nice and slow, let's go ahead. Slowly lift our head up to a neutral position, using your hands if that helps too. Sometimes your neck is like, ah. You don't want to put much work in after letting it go so much. And from here, if you have any blankets or pillows on your lap, you may want to release them down. We're just going to take a minute here, resting our hands on our knees. We're going to do the same thing we did with our neck, but we're going to add our spine in here. So on an inhale, we're going to go ahead and just sort of lean forward, getting some length in your lower back, your middle back. Just sort of sink into it, wiggle, anything else that feels good here. Your shoulders can pull back gently, or you can have them slouch forward. That's fine. And your chin lifts just a little bit. Taking a few nice breaths. Then let's go ahead and sway ourselves over to the right, almost like our chest is just leaning forward over our right knee. Our chin can come down towards our right shoulder. Or if you want, you can lift your chin and let your right ear hang down by your right shoulder. And then let's go ahead. On your next inhale, come on forward again. And on an exhale, hi cat, let's take it over to the left. Allowing your hands or your elbows to just sort of lean on your leg if that feels okay. Feeling this passive stretch in your back. You're engaging yourself just enough to hold yourself up. Good, let's go ahead, lean forward here again. Take a nice breath in. And then let's go ahead, rotate to the right and then keep it going to the back. And lean yourself back and you're really gonna round your spine like we do in a cat when we are on a table. Leaning your shoulders forward, your arms forward, your neck down towards your chest, but you get that round in your spine like you're pressing your middle back behind you. Leaning back as far as you want here. And then let's go ahead, when you feel good, when your breath feels right, take it over to the left, a nice little lean here. And then leaning it forward. Let's go ahead and do a couple circles. You might start feeling your hips in these movements. So on an inhale, leaning over to the right, and then leaning it back. Take an exhale. And on a next inhale, taking it over to the left and to the front. Take a pause. Take another circle this way. Take any moments to like stay in any parts that feel sticky or any parts, you know, you're listening to your body that are like right there. Yeah. Making these spine circles as wide or as small as you'd like. Just sort of stirring yourself up. And the next time you come around to leaning back, take a little break, take a breath. And go ahead and switch directions here. So take an inhale in while you're leaning back. And then on your exhale, go ahead, take it over to the left and forward. Matching your breath and your movement in any way that feels good for you. Sometimes I specifically order which direction and which breath to match up. And this time I want you guys to let your bodies be in control of that. Good, let's take one more circle and take your time here. And this time, once we come back full circle and we're leaning forward, we'll go ahead and stay there and take a pause. Take a moment to breathe here. And then slowly, maybe even using your hands, press yourself up to a seated, nice, tall spine. Crown of your head reaching high. All right, and I want to come on to sitting on our heels. So we're going to lean ourselves forward so we can plant our hands and uncross your feet from underneath you so that your knees and your feet are close together, maybe touching. And then sit your hips back over your heels. And now the tops of your feet can be down on the mat, or you can have your toes curled under and you can be sitting on your heels that way. Whatever feels better for your body. And of course, blankets and pillows are just the best. And so we like to use them a lot, so we're cozy. If your toes are curled under, you may get a little bit of a stretch in the bottom of your feet, and you can always scoot your knees a little bit further forward. You'll get more of a stretch. So decide if that's something you want or not. And from here, we're going to reach our right arm back behind us and take a bind of our right wrist with our left hand behind us here. And we're gently going to tug our right arm to the left, letting your shoulders roll back. And then with your right arm, sort of just tugging your left arm, tugging your right arm down. And then bringing your chin towards your chest here, getting a bit of a stretch more in the trapezius area, this like little bridge part of the side of our neck and the top of our shoulder. If you want a little bit more of an intense stretch, go ahead and lift your chin back up from your chest and then allow your right ear to come down towards your left ear to come down towards your shoulder. Now, if your feet or your knees or anything are bothering you and sort of distracting from allowing yourself to breathe and release into your neck, feel free to adjust, make any adjustments necessary. You can even stay cross-legged if you want, but elevating yourself up a little higher allows a little bit more reach in your right arm down towards the left. We're going to stay here for a bit, so settle yourself in, finding that sweet spot where your head can just sort of hang. And you can come back to that sensation of hearing and that sensation of touch. Almost like we're listening for a feeling. Let's breathe here for about 30 more seconds. Nice and slow here. First thing I want to do is just release your right hand. And with your left hand, Bring it to the left side of your face and your head and gently lift it back up to a nice neutral spine here. Shrug those shoulders a little bit. Do any head movements, neck circles that feel good here. And then lean forward so that you can plant your hands. And we don't want our feet falling asleep and distracting us here. So come onto your hands and your knees. And then gently reach your right foot back, curling your toes under and sort of sending your right heel back. Rocking forward and backward, anything that feels like a nice release in your legs there. And then when you feel good and ready, go ahead and lower that right knee down. We'll do the same thing on the other side. I think I just realized that I'm in the habit of switching, of mirroring my sides to you. And you guys are like, well, she's doing the opposite of what she says. I don't need to do that. All right. You learn things every day in COVID times on the Zoom. All right, let's slowly lower our left knee down. Coming back onto our heels here. Switching your feet maybe in another way than you did before. If the tops of your feet down, maybe try curling your toes under. If they were curled under and you want to try, bringing your tops of your feet down. And then we're going to go ahead and do the other side here. So our left shoulder's coming back. Rolling those shoulders back. Giving your left hand a tug with your right. First, start just by assessing your situation by bringing your chin down towards your chest. Just feeling that left shoulder. And then if you'd like to, you can raise your head just slightly so that your chin is just lifted, tad, and then go ahead and take your head over to the right. Getting that length in your left side. Readjusting your position, again, any way that you need to. So that most of your attention is up here to your left shoulder and your breath. And whatever is going on inside. And see how much we can sort of slow that down. Turn down the volume so that we're hearing our breath. And we're aware of our stillness. And everything else just sort of comes and goes like a breeze. Kind of flows in and then it's gone. We can hear it, we could feel it, we can't see it. But it was there. But it didn't stay. Take about 30 more seconds here. I think it's really important to give so much time to these neck releases because our neck often has to move our head quickly, you know, depending on what we're doing. We're not really thinking, hey, neck muscles, will you engage to turn my head this way? You know, but they work a lot and they work fast. So it's real nice to just slow it down. And sometimes it takes them a while to catch on and say, oh, this is a break. Nice and slow. Let's go ahead and release our left hand down, maybe using your right hand to the side of your the right side of your face to sort of lift your head back up, moving into any position to sort of shake ourselves, equal ourselves back out. Let's plant our hands out in front of us. Come onto our hands and our knees, maybe doing some ankle circles here. Go ahead and reach one leg back and then the other, anything that feels good. I like to windshield wiper my heels side to side and just sort of let my hips come down with it. Good. Nice. Now this time, let's go ahead and sit ourselves down on our mat and have our legs out in front of us. So take a minute to get situated. You want yourself nice and planted, your sit bones, feeling the floor, feeling the mat below you. And feel your feet, sort of turning your ankle side to side. And here we're going to go ahead and get the back of our shoulders. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap our right arm around our front, and so that our right elbow sort of coming towards our center and our right hand is on our left shoulder. And then we'll go ahead and cross the left in front of that right and take a bind of our right shoulder. Now, if you have a lot of top, sometimes our shoulders aren't too reachable and biceps are totally okay here. Just giving yourself a squeeze, those arms reaching forward enough and crossing so that you can feel this in the back of your arms and in the back of your shoulders. And then with a nice inhale, let's go ahead, sit up and lift those elbows up just a tad, maybe lifting your head up, your chin up, and let your head fall back a little bit. And then go ahead and start to reach those elbows forward and down, sort of folding yourself over your thighs. And then at some point, you can allow your elbows to sort of stop reaching forward or up so much, and you allow yourself to just sort of round forward and squeeze and hang. You can let your head relax down too, letting your neck go. If your arms and your shoulders are feeling like they want a little bit more, you can always sit back up and take those eagle arms. So you sort of wind your arms together around themselves one more time. So where we went, right arm to left shoulder, left arm to right shoulder, you can go ahead and bring the back of your hands together in the center, and then wrapping your left arm around your right again, so your palms come together. Then try lifting your elbows up, sending them forward. Oh, just a little more. And keep your breath going nice and slow here. Energetically, in yoga, we learned about chakras, which are, certain hubs in your body that maybe allow a different kind of energy or emotion that makes our character. Right here in our chest is our heart chakra. But that's not just the front of our chest, it's the back too. And guess what's getting a lot of openness right now is the back of our heart chakra. And that is our ability to receive love, not just to give it forward from our front, but to get it. Making this nice and open, willing to receive. Let's go ahead and nice and slow, lifting yourself back up. Use your core, sit yourself up, and then release your bind here. Let's go ahead, reach our arms open, nice and wide. Maybe our hands are kind of reaching back behind us a little bit. Then reach them up and overhead. It feels good. Maybe taking a side bend or two. Taking a bind of your wrist. Bending side to side. And then let's go ahead, lower our arms down. Give our shoulders a few shrugs and circles, and we'll do the other side here. So if we had our right arm going around first, now we're going to go ahead and cross our left over first, and then our right over that. Or whatever the opposite is. And hug yourself in nice and tight here. So sometimes if you can even creep your fingertips past your shoulder, towards the back of your shoulder and your shoulder blades, your scapulas, go ahead and do that. And then gently sitting up tall, lifting your elbows up, your chin up, maybe letting your head fall back, leaning slightly back. And then when you're ready, start to reach your elbows forward and rounding your spine, allowing your arms to come down, your chest to come down towards your thighs, your crown of your head to droop down so that your neck's nice and relaxed. You want those eagle arms, that's always a possibility here too, tightening those, winding those arms together a little bit more for a little bit more of a release. Your legs at this point have probably been feeling it too. If you want a little bit more in your legs, you can pull your toes in towards you, just waking up those feet a little bit so that the back of your legs are a little bit longer. The top of your legs are engaged, pulling those toes in. Your knees too can be as bent as they want to be. We're always coming back to listening to that breath, listening to your information, this internal feed. It's pretty subtle, pretty quiet. Think of yourself like you're standing in a forest and you're chatting with a friend, or maybe you have a radio with you. We're turning down the volume of our radio. We're asking our chatty friend to quiet down. Shh. Hear the birds. Or hear a squirrel rustling around in the leaves. That's what we're going for here in yoga, in our body. Let our mind, our friend, our radio. Shh. Just turn on the volume. Listen. Nice and slow here. Sit yourself up. Unwind your arms. Give your shoulders a circle or two. Open your arms wide, opening your chest up. Arms come overhead. And then exhale your arms down and back behind you. We're gonna go ahead and plant our feet. So we'll bend our knees here. Our hands are behind us and we're sort of leaning on our hands. And we'll take a little bridge just for some countering. So you're gonna go ahead and just let your hips lift up because you're making like a reverse table. And then let your head fall back if that feels okay. Roll your head side to side if that feels good. And then slowly go ahead and lower those knees down. And let's go ahead, bring the soles of your feet together here. Taking a nice little reclined butterfly. And with your chin, you're gently keeping it nice at a neutral angle here. Turn it over your right shoulder. And so it may be like above your clavicle here, your collarbone. And then gently lower your chin down over that collarbone. And you'll get a stretch here in a different section of your neck. And if you want, you can go ahead and take that left arm, reaching around the top of your head, and with your middle finger or your ring finger, hooking the top of your ear, that little cuff, and letting your hand gently rest on the side of your head, adding a little bit more length here. Maybe it's a little bit more towards the back of your head. Your knees, you can allow a pillow or a blanket to be underneath your knees or underneath your seat, if that helps. Your right hand is just sort of hanging down next to you or on your lap. Give yourselves a few more breaths here. Nice and slow. Go ahead and release your hand if you put that on your head. And then maybe using your hand to gently lift your head back up to a neutral position. Take a minute just to sort of lift your chin up slightly so like you're looking towards the ceiling. Lifting your chest up so that you got this nice long spine. Maybe it's even like arched a little bit. And fold yourself forward. Keeping that chest as like open and reaching forward and down as much as you can for a moment here. Your chin staying lifted. Your elbows, you can sort of hug them in close to your sides. Your hands are wherever here on your lap or in front of you. You can turn your head side to side, sort of like tipping one ear towards the ceiling and then the other. Getting this nice stretch in our throat. And then nice and slow, use your hands, press yourself back up. Neutral position here. And we're gonna go ahead, keeping our legs where they are. Turn your chin over to the left. And then your chin, nice, just above your collarbone here. So it's at maybe like a 45-degree angle if from your nose all the way to your right would be 90 degrees. We're halfway there. Let your chin tuck down. And then if you want to, you can go ahead and rest your hand over on the side of your head, on the back of your head, maybe hooking your ear. Be careful that we're just sort of like resting our hand there, just adding a little bit of weight instead of pulling. We're not really tugging here. Coming back to your breath here, maybe you even feel it a little bit constricted in your throat here. And that's kind of good. And create a little bit of the sound in the back of your throat. You can hear your breath a little bit more. Good, nice and slow. Let's release our hand from our head. Use that hand to lift your head back up. And then let's go ahead and we're gonna lie down. We did a lot of sitting up today. That's not something I usually have us do. Lying down here, we're gonna take a nice twist. So you guys can do the way we do twist normally, where we pull our knees into our chest and then let our knees rest to the side. Or if you want it to be a little bit deeper, let's go ahead and you can let your right leg go long. Left knee comes into your chest and just that one crosses over your body to the right. And your whole hips sort of roll over to the right side and then open your left arm out to a T or to a field goal, turning your chin over to the left shoulder if that feels okay. If you're like, oh, no, that's too much. You can do both knees. Or if you want, you can always put a pillow or a blanket underneath your left knee so that it's got something to fall on. It's not going all the way down to the floor. Stay in this twist for just about another minute. Coming back to your breath with that forest analogy. Maybe you are the forest, full of life, full of all of this stuff going on, this whole ecosystem, and yet so peaceful, so majestic and quiet that you can hear the slightest wind shift the leaves of the trees, or just a little creak in the branches. Nice and slow here. Let's slowly roll back onto our backs. Go ahead, bring both knees into your chest and give them a nice squeeze and rock side to side a little bit, just kind of getting your spine realigned. And then taking your twist to the other side. If you use both knees on the right side, do that on the left too, just for balance and symmetry. Or if you want to let your left leg go long and just your right knee rest over to the left. And do that too. And then opening your right arm out to a T and turning your chin over your right shoulder if that feels okay. Lots of neck releases today. And know that this quiet, with so much activity going on, yet still feels a little bit more open and peaceful. That's always there. And sometimes you just got to turn the volume down on the radio so that you can hear all of the activity that's always been there. Take just about one more minute here, just watching your breath, just watching yourself be. Maybe you've got a slight smile on your face. Happy to know you, happy to be you. The world's better because you exist. Good that you can recognize this peace and all of those gifts that make you you. Make this place beautiful. Nice and slow here. Let's slowly roll back onto your backs. Bring your knees into your chest and give them one more squeeze. And then when you're ready, go ahead and release your knees here. Let your legs go long. Your feet more separate than hip distance, like you're sending them towards the corners of your mat. And then let your arms rest at your sides, nice and long, with your palms up or palms down. And allow your head just to rest down, feeling the earth cradling the back of your skull. Taking this last minute here just to allow yourself just to exist, just to be. Nice and slow here. Begin to bring movements back to your body. Nice tiny movements first. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, rolling your wrists and your ankles. Maybe turning your chin from side to side. And when you're ready, just like when we wake up, reaching our arms over our head, taking a nice big inhale, big full body stretch. And exhale, sigh it out of your mouth and let yourself just melt into the floor. And again, take a nice filling inhale here. And exhale, letting it go. Take your time here to bring your knees into your chest, rock side to side. Good. And add any other movements here, maybe doing a little happy baby, waking up those legs, those hips, getting a nice massage in your lower back. Rocking forward and backward a little bit. And then when you're ready, bringing your knees back into your chest and go ahead and just roll onto one side or the other, curled up in like a fetal position. And then nice and new, with your hands, press yourself back up to a seated position. Sitting comfortably, just as we started. Take a minute here, feel the ground below you. Feel yourself being on the ground, being right here. And let's close out our practice with some gratitude. You can rest your hands wherever it feels good. Take a moment to close your eyes and just bow your head. And be grateful for this earth below you, for the peaceful forest within you, for the practice of yoga and the opportunity to breathe and slow down. And I express my gratitude to you for allowing me to lead you through this practice and to connect with you. And the light and love in my heart humbly honors and bows to the light and love in you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks, you guys. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer anything for you.
That was beautiful, Marie. Thank you. My neck and shoulders. Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
Good. I'm really glad. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming, Julia.
That was really relaxing. Thanks.
Yeah, it was perfect. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.
Wednesday. See you
All
Wednesday.
right, I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye, guys. Take
Bye.
care. Bye.